Hey yo, what's up? I'm Vile Self,
And I'm TV Fish.
and this is Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews. Today, we're looking at the brand new album by Unleash the Archers titled Apex.
Apex was released June 2nd on Napalm Records, and Unleash the Archers is a power metal band from British Columbia, Canada. And I don't know much about them. I mean, I checked out a few of their songs a few days ago to see if I can get into it, get an idea of what we're going into here. But, a lot of this is going into the unknown for me for this experience. I have an open mind for what's coming next. So hopefully this one will unleash the archer within me.
Me, on the other hand, am already a fan of this band. I thoroughly enjoy listening to them. I think they have a very unique sound, and I think they're a very well put together band, and I've been looking forward to this album for quite a while now, and I'm pretty hyped to listen to it. So what we're going to do is we're both going to go and listen to this album for the first time in its entirety, front to end. Then we're going to come back here, and we're going to give you guys our first impressions of this album. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a bit.
Alright guys, we're back. Just listened to the album for our first listen, and we don't think it's very fair to give an absolute judgment on this album just after one listen.
Gotta give it a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna, on our own, listen to this album for a week.
As much as we can.
As much as we can.
Soak it in.
And then we're gonna come back and give it a final, definite review after having so many listens to it and having it ingrained within us.
Yeah.
So we do have some notes that we
These
took.
are gonna be first impressions.
Yeah, first impressions of Apex by Unleash the Archers. So Vile, what did you think?
Okay, well, like you just said, we took some notes, so I'm not gonna read through all my notes, but I'm gonna talk about basically the song I like the least and the song I like the best. So I guess we'll end on a high note. The song I liked the least was called False Walls. My notes, I said super slow paced, not a fan of slow paced stuff, kind of boring, not feeling it. Those are the kind of notes I was writing. The song just kind of killed the vibe. It killed the mood for me, and I mean, it sucks to even say that. It sucks that there's any song like that on the album. And the thing is, I was like, you know what, maybe this is like their cool down song. Like they play this on their live set, and it's like their cool down song. Most metal bands have a song kind of like that, but then Fish points out that it's an 8-minute song, and an 8-minute cool down is a little too long. It's about twice as long as you want for a cool down song.
I'd fall asleep.
So yeah, I'd fall asleep to that. It's like maybe if I had to take like a dump in the middle of the set or something like that, I can go to take a dump in the bathroom while that song's playing.
That's in your background.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the worst song for me on the album. Other than that, the best song for me was The Awakening. My notes on there say sick intro. It had a great intro. It's fast paced, high energy. I like that. Had a really good guitar solo, but it wasn't anything too special. It didn't stand out at me. I wasn't super impressed with it, but it was still very well. And the song also had a really, really good outro. So overall, that song was really good. Had a good structure to it. High energy, fast paced. Like I said, I like those kinds of things. It reminded me of the classic Unleash the Archers type of stuff that I'm used to listening to. But overall, my first impressions of this album is that it just didn't hit the mark that the last couple albums hit. Like Time Stand Still, to me, is an amazing album. I found that vocally, Britney Slays didn't quite hit those epic notes and those epic points that she used to hit before in songs like Tonight We Ride and Test Your Metal and General of the Dark Army. Those songs, like, she really has these high vocal points where she really just belts it out. There was a couple spots like that in this album that were she was almost there, but this album to me, it just lacked epic. It lacked epic.
Nothing that really just punched
nothing punched me in the face. It didn't punch me through the forehead. And Unleash the Archers is one of those bands that I expect to do that to me. I expect them to kind of punch me in the forehead. What did you think of it? What are your notes?
Well, if we're gonna talk about like least favorite track, actually, when it came to how I rated them, I actually have the same. Least favorite track was False Walls, just because
There you go.
I didn't have a problem with it being chill, because in the structure of the album, it came nearly around the halfway point, which is fair. You had all the energy there, you come back down, which is fair. But for me, what killed it was way too long. It was 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You have 8 minutes of cooldown. That's
Way too long for a mellow song like that.
That's a lot. But my favorites, well, the way I rated them, my absolute favorite was The Matriarch, but I will mention, I fucking loved Awakening. That
Yeah.
was an amazing song. It had everything. It was thrashy. The end reminded me of Symphony X. It's just like holy shit.
I'd like to mention that since you mentioned Matriarch, I'd like to say that was probably one of my second. I have two that were tied for second place as far as my ratings. We rated each track one by one. It's kind of what we did. So Matriarch and Coward's Way were my next two best tracks.
Coward's Way? What did I say about Cowards? You know, I liked the little bit that they did in like the different time signature. It was in 7. I'm like, okay, you know, that's interesting, I guess. You know, for a more casual listener, I guess it'll catch them off guard and make it more memorable for them. But I really like the harmonization.
That song had great harmonies.
It
have
did.
great harmonies. You pointed that out while we were listening. I was like, wow, that's actually
It was good.
great solo too. Great solo in that song. There was actually some pretty good guitar work throughout this whole album. But again, it was nothing that I was like, wow, holy crap, I gotta listen to that again. Nothing really grabbed me.
Whenever I hear like dual guitars, like calling back to like Maiden and Judas Priest, I'm like, you know, that it just feels in the pocket for me. Like I like it in there.
It's definitely in the pocket. It's a comfort zone, but I like when there's something in there that just makes you go, wow, like something technically superior that just makes you like go, holy crap, I gotta listen to that again. That was so sick.
But the Matriarch, what I wrote 2 things. 1, great fucking energy. 2, probably a single, which you can get the essence within a song. Either 1, it's probably one of the first few tracks.
Yep.
Because when they hear the single, they want to hear the song early, so it comes on. And I believe this was actually a single.
They released it.
There you go. It was
Cleanse
a
the
single.
Bloodlines and the Matriarch were the 2 songs they released prior to the album coming out. So there you go.
Yeah, so like you could get the essence of it, but that song I really liked. Another one that I didn't like was, where is it, Shadow Guide.
Shadow Guide.
It was just like, I don't know. It had
That was the one I thought the intro sounded like 3 Inches of Blood. But I couldn't think of what song it was reminding me of.
it was just
similar.
straightforward. There wasn't
was
like
like-
something huge that stood out, really.
You know what I call songs like that? I call them mellow metal. Because they're like, it still sounds heavy, it still sounds like metal, but it's very mellow, very, I don't even want to say chill, because it's not even the kind of stuff you can sit down and drink a beer on a hot day to. It's like, just on this certain level where it never really reaches a good, epic, roaring type of metal, and it's, I don't know. It's not bad though. I'm not saying it's bad. It's not a bad thing, but when you put on something like Unleash the Archers, for me personally, I want something that's high energy. That's what I'm looking for. High energy, high octane, epic, in your face, thrashy, power metal. That's what I want.
As someone who never really checked out the band before, like this was a good, I guess, gateway into it, because the hard stuff I really liked, and if by, you know, your description and reactions, it sounds like some of the older stuff is even harder. So that's some stuff I'd probably want to check out on my own. If I get the taste of like Awakening and Matriarch, but like for an entire album, then that's, you know, I would say perhaps this album might be a good starting album, just because you get hard stuff, you get softer stuff, but I wouldn't know too well. I will check out their other stuff. The one thing I want to mention, in Earth and Ashes, out of nowhere,
Oh yeah.
out of nowhere, there's a clean male vocal, and we're both like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
Yeah,
what?
I've never heard any clean male vocals in this band before. They got, you know, the clean lead female vocals, and then they got the male who does the harsh vocals. But clean male vocals came out of nowhere. It was one small part to it. It wasn't even the whole song.
Yeah, no, it was just there.
I mean, it wasn't. The guy doesn't got a bad voice.
No, it's
but
not.
it felt very out of place.
The song was
Very
good, but then
awkward.
that was just like,
Yeah, it took us back. It was very weird. But
Strange.
overall, what are your final thoughts? And these are like, I guess, remember the first impression.
my final thought,
first impression. Your
my final
thought-
first
yeah,
impression.
Final first impression.
I think it's good, not amazing. Like albums I would classify as amazing is like something like Iowa. Like I wouldn't categorize it with an album like that.
It's hard. It's apples to oranges at that point. But
yeah.
I see what you mean. It didn't
I'm, like-
it didn't hit you like an album like that hit you.
Yeah, but I think there's still some really good tracks in it. So it's probably an album that I would at least from my first impression, it's an album I would sit down and listen to maybe once in a while, but there are some tracks I will come back to a lot, like Matriarch and Awakening.
I think my final thoughts I'll say is that the album didn't hit as hard as, you know, Time Stands Still or Demons of the Astral Waste. Didn't hit as hard as those two albums when I first listened to them, but I think there's potential for this to be one of those albums that you gotta listen to a few times in order to appreciate it, which is why we're doing it like this, where we have a first impressions in this video, and then in about a week's time, we'll come back and we'll give you guys a full review after we've had a chance to really soak the album in. We're gonna give it an honest chance, a fair chance. So that's pretty much it, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's about it for our first impressions. Tune in next week, and we'll be back with our final impressions on Apex by Unleash the Archers.
And we'll be giving it a score out of 10 as well. And we have a special little scoring method we're going to do, but we'll talk about that in the next video. But yeah, be sure to like the video, leave a comment below. Let us know if you guys like Unleash the Archers, if this is something that you guys are hearing about for the first time. Let us know if you guys like the album, if you've heard it, if you're going to check it out, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace out.